always.
It's all the time.
So.
Good. Okay. So we start. You talk to me.
Okay.
So first question is about your label. You're on the same label since 13 years.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit untypical those days. Some bands switch labels, some bands build their own. Are you happy with your label, or why you are there so long?
Well, I mean, as every working relationship, you're happy about some stuff and not happy about some other stuff. So I don't think there's a perfect relationship. You know, I spoke with bands on every label, major, independent, and they all have something to complain about or something that they're happy about. So of course it's business relationship, so it's always a little struggle. You know, you fight for something, they fight for something else. Everybody tries to make the best for everybody, but sometimes you argue, sometimes you totally hate them, sometimes you're okay with what they do. So it's a business relationship. Yeah. We've been a long time because we signed a long deal in the first place. That's why, and then we renew it with completely different conditions. So we actually extend it, and I think we still have a couple of albums.
Yeah, we still have like a couple of records, and then we're done. But I mean, it's going pretty alright. I mean, we can't really complain too much, you know. And I've heard like stories from other bands that get treated much worse than we are.
And at least we have a good deal.
Yeah.
So our deal, it's pretty good. I mean, we renew it after the third album.
Yeah.
So basically, it's already 3 albums that we're having pretty good conditions. Actually, we own our merchandise, we own our publishing. So it's just not bad.
But during your first tour, your guitar players and the drummers moved the band. Was it a shock for you? Was it difficult then to?
Well, I mean, yeah, it was a shock in the beginning because we were friends. We've done the demo tape together. We know each other since a few years. So it was a shock in terms of the friendship, because it wasn't a pleasant way to say goodbye. No, it wasn't just that they decided not to play. It was a little fight in between the band because some people in the band changed a lot their mind and they wanted to go somewhere else artistically and personally, and that wasn't the case for the other half of the band, me, Marco and Cristina especially. So we haven't kept a good relationship, only with one of the guitar player, Claudio. We're still friends, we still see each other. I still go to see him live when he plays with his band, and if he needs something I'm always there for help. I'm totally cool with him. The other 2 guys, we just don't have a relationship anymore basically. I just saw them like in every blue moon, like once in a blue moon, you know. But really not really friend relation. They took completely different direction in life also, so we're not seeing each other. And if I thought the good thing was that it happened right in the beginning. So in this way, whatever Lacuna Coil has achieved with the lineup that we have right now, because the first EP we didn't really make a huge success. So everything we've built in these years has been built by this lineup. So Lacuna Coil for me is this lineup.
Mm-hmm. So as most of your album, I think, are produced by the same producer. I think it was Mark Waldemar.
Yes,
Waldemar Richter,
yeah. Except the last album. So which criteria choose your producer, and how important is a good producer for a sound, for your sound?
Well, it's certainly very important for us. I mean, although throughout the years we learned a lot on how to work on our songs, on what kind of sound we want to achieve. Basically, when we started, I mean, Century Media chose Waldemar to work with us because we didn't know any better, you know. I mean, we
didn't
were just
know
like
what the producer was.
We didn't even know that. You know, we never went to a studio before, like, you know, working on a real album and so on. And Waldemar was very helpful because, I mean, he for sure has a lot of experience, you know. So he guided us like through our first step, you know, and made sure that we got where we wanted to go. The reason why we decided to change for Shallow Life and try to work with somebody else is not because we are not friends with Waldemar anymore. We don't like the way he works. It's just that after a certain, you know, time, you just want to try and work with somebody else, just to have a different like perspective on the sound, on the way you work on the songs and so on. And I think it was very interesting to work with somebody like Don Gilmore, of course, you know, like a huge name, and he produced like a lot of like big bands like Linkin Park or Pearl Jam, exactly, you know. So I think that working with this kind of producer in America really was something that we've always wanted to try, and finally we had the chance to do it, and there you go.
Okay.
Well, I think
communicate in the
Yeah,
studio.
you're not the only one actually. There are many people that they don't really know what a producer does. Some people think that a producer just make the sound for the guitar, and that's not a producer. I mean, that's a sound engineer. So sometimes their role is confused. Like somebody called themselves a producer, but they never wrote a song. They never know how to work lyrics. So to me, a producer is somebody that steps into your music and tells you his opinion, which is an outside opinion, completely different from yours, honest, hopefully, and it has much more experience than what you have in terms of songwriting, because everybody can have you take a good sound engineer and you can reach the sound you want. You know, that's just a matter of tweaking with amps and time in the studio. But to make the songwriting works, that's a different story. You need somebody which is very experienced on that, and experience in terms of writing songs, writing lyrics, and structure of the songs. So it's somebody which is, of course, it's a bit difficult to accept for a band, because you're especially if you're coming from a demo situation where you only listen to your ideas, you only listen to your opinions, and you think everybody else can't really tell you how your music should sound.
It's your baby, you know. Like.
But a producer has the role to come there and tells you what is right, what is wrong, and what he thinks about your music. So you need to be very careful when you go and choose a producer to work with. You need to listen to the record he produced and the style of music he's been working on. So you need to be sure that that's the right guy for you. Otherwise, it can ruin your music.
Yeah.
You can make it 10 times better, but you can also make it crap, because it's not automatics, you know. So you need to be very careful in choosing a producer, and somebody which is actually a producer, not a sound engineer.
Is it always fun, or is it sometimes stressy too?
I think it's fun for the most part, because this is really what we chose to do, you know. I mean, when we started the band and we started like touring, this is exactly what we wanted to achieve, you know. So obviously it's something that we know it's part of our lives, you know. On the other hand, when you're gone for so long, it can get a little hard, you know. You're always away from your friends, your family, and so on. And but it's something that we've come to accept as part of our job, you know. I mean, because it's really what keeps the band alive. I mean, it's something. Yeah, recording an album is one thing. It's part of it too, but it's very different, you know. I mean, for one, you don't go into the studio every month or something. But touring is really something that we do pretty much all the time. Our lives are
touring is the day
core,
to day.
you know.
It's our life, day to day. Studio, it's more of a magic moment when you create and when you finish the product and you listen to it done, and what was just some very raw idea turns into some magic sounds.
Which is very exciting too, you know. I mean, it's something that when you write the songs, you don't know how they'll turn out once they're completely finished, and that's something very special, you know, when it happens. But touring is like that's really what we basically do all the time.
Cool. So your last album was I thought in the Billboard charts in America, very successful. I think 16.
Number 16. Yeah.
How important is it for a band to enter the charts so high? Is it?
I think it's really important. I mean, especially now that record sales are going down really bad, achieving like that kind of position in the charts in the US, especially for a band like ours, you know, like from Italy, like playing this kind of music, it's really a step, you know,
a big achievement.
A big achievement, you know, is something that we never thought could. I mean, we've hoped it could have happened, but we never really thought it would have, you know. So when we actually got told, I mean, we're really excited about it, because also the perception that people in the business and even not like have when something like this happens really can turn things around a lot for a band, you know. And we've seen like a lot of really great success in the States right now, because of this, you know, with radio stations and stuff, and that's really something that, you know, we're proud of.
Especially when you sign a record deal, it's not very honest to say that you don't care. If you sign a record deal, it means you want your record to be out in the stores, to be on the internet, on iTunes and everything, and so you want to sell the record. That doesn't mean you have to do a shitty record because it has to sell. You want to sell your record, not just the record. So you want your art to be at its best, to be sold to people, because then it means they're gonna come to the show, they're gonna, you're gonna tour, you're gonna experience the world. So it is a machine that has to work all together. But it's not honest when you sign a record deal and then you don't care about the record. So come on, then why you sell it? Then you sign a record deal, you can record your demo, you listen with your friends in the pub, and that's great. But why you sign a record deal and then you don't want to sell a record? Nobody does that.
Is there a little bit pressure for you now? So when you have such a big success now, when you think about, okay, and the next album maybe should sell even more, or?
I mean, it's hard to tell nowadays. It used to be like that, of course. When we sold like 500,000-600,000 records with Comalize, and then came out with another record, it was a big responsibility because their previous record sold 60,000. So we went from 60 to 600,000. So that was a big step, and to maintain that kind of level has been really, we didn't know what to do, because it was our first time also to sell that kind of records, to have success in America, to have the video on MTV, that kind of stuff, and the songs in the radio. Never happened before. So of course there was some pressure, even if you don't want the pressure, but you still have it around you. Also for the label, our label Comalize was the best selling record in the history of the label. So it wasn't just for us, it was also for them and for everybody that works on the project to be a bit scared, to not know exactly what to do. But I think we've been able to manage to maintain, a certain balance. So we've been able to not have the pressure coming too much on board, and still sell good the record after we keep the same level as Comalize, basically. So now it is a completely different story, because now you really don't know how much you're gonna sell, because the market has been changing so much that if before with 50,000 copy you were number 50 in the bill, now with 50,000 you're number 1. So it's like it's completely changed. So you don't know not only if you're an established band, if the people is gonna follow you, but you don't even know the way you're gonna promote the record, because it's changing every day. It's the internet now is more important, and then the magazine, for example. Magazines are kind of disappearing because everybody had fresh news on the internet every day. So why people would buy a magazine anymore? It's the same for everything, not only the music actually. Since the internet kicks in so strong, even newspaper are in crisis, because people just don't buy newspaper anymore. So it's now it's really a mess, a chaos. Like you don't
Nobody knows.
We've managed to do well so far. We're selling like the same numbers we used to do, even if the
market's down.
It's down, but we're also every day waiting for some news, waiting what we're gonna do next. Once you have a full year planned already, now we don't know what we're gonna do next month. I mean, we know, but it's not confirmed. So it's like, okay, we see, because you have to follow where stuff is happening. Like you got something going on in the UK, so you need to be in the UK. Or now we got, for example, 2 songs in the radio in America, in the top 40 active rock radios. So the 2 singles are steering the charts, and we need to go there. We need to be back there. That's why we are here 10 months after the release of the album, doing the first European tour. It never happened before. Usually Europe was our first tour. Now we've done 3 tours in America and 1 in Europe that is just happening now. So it's hard now to follow what's going on. It's crazy. It's it's challenging and interesting on one hand, but it's also scary on the other hand.
It's very different than it used to be, for sure.
Okay. Is there much space?
No, we're not even close to being on top. I mean, I think we've achieved like something that's really good for a band like us, but we know that we're nowhere near the top. I mean, we want to get much further than we reach. I mean, it would be a little bit, hypocritical to say like, okay, we got here, that's it, we reached our goal. I mean, it's never like that, because it means that you're like missing out on something that could happen that could be much bigger, I mean, and especially in this kind of business, you always want to try and do better. I mean, otherwise, why would you even try,
And it's also actually hard to say, because every record you do, you move your target in a different way. It's not only a matter of, okay, I've sold 500,000, I want to sell 1 million copies. It's not just that, because that you can't really predict. but it's a matter of your goals moving forward. Like when before we did Comalize, as I said before, we never expected to be so successful. So we never thought our goal was to sell 500,000 records or be successful in America. We didn't even know if we were gonna tour America for the first time, or so it happened. And then, of course, after Comalize, we moved our target in a different dimension. You know? Same now. I mean, it's not only a matter of selling more.
No, it's a matter of everything that's happening to the band. You know, I mean, it's not just being number 16th in the chart or number 1 or whatever. It's not about that. Obviously, that helps because it makes you more popular and stuff, and makes it easier for the band to get further and further. But really, even like when you write each new album, you know, and maybe the music style changes a little bit because you grow as a musician as well, you know. So that's also part of the goal, you know, to keep doing the music that you like, and never, like, you know, fall back onto something that you've done before because you have no more ideas, you know, to present to the people. And that's actually the hardest thing to manage.
Perfect. I have one last question for you. Imagine you got a stadium tour all over the world, sold out in 10 minutes, and it's so big you can choose your own supporting band. It doesn't matter which genre, it doesn't matter how big, it doesn't matter if they're dead or alive. Who would you choose? Straight into the camera, please.
All-time favorite band. I would say the Police. Being supported by the Police would be awesome.
Cool. Yeah, maybe I would say Led Zeppelin. It's a classic.
Thank you very much.
That would be a little bit of pressure, you know.